Hello, and welcome to the Technology Adoption Model presentation on diffusion of innovation. In 1962, Everett M. Rogers published the first edition of Diffusion of Innovations. There has since been 4 more editions published, with the last being published in 2003. Rogers' theory seeks to explain how innovations are adopted within a population. It has been applied in a variety of contexts, and it continues to garner the attention of researchers today. What sets the diffusion of innovations theory apart from other adoption theories is that it examines how the innovation evolves more so than persuading individuals to change and/or adopt an innovation. The image shown here depicts a breakdown of the various groups involved in the adoption of an innovation. Rogers suggests that membership to one of these groups is static, and one should not waste time attempting to shift an individual from one group to the next. Rather, when facilitating adoption of an innovation, one should strive to meet the needs of each group successively, naturally, and organically. The majority of one's focus should be placed on identifying the innovators. These are the individuals that will assist you in developing and refining goals and subsequently market the innovation to the early adopters and early majority. The theory itself is more based on the image shown here. The components of the theory include the innovation itself, communication channels, or the means by which information regarding the innovation is distributed throughout a population, social systems, which refers to the context, culture, or environment in which the innovation will take place, and time, which refers back to the image discussed on the previous slide. Because the theory is so complex and we have a limited amount of time, this presentation will focus on the subcomponents related to the innovation itself: relative advantage, compatibility, complexity, travelability, and observability. Simply put, relative advantage represents the extent to which the innovation in question is perceived as being better than the tool or practice it replaces. This can manifest itself in several ways. It may make one's job easier, or it could free up time by alleviating menial or administrative tasks, thus allowing the adopters to spend more time on activities they find more useful or more meaningful. Altogether, Rogers identifies 6 types of relative advantage and notes that the type of advantage most significant will vary based on the needs and characteristics of the intended adopters. The 6 types of relative advantage are economic profitability, low initial cost, decreased discomfort, social prestige, savings in time and effort, and immediacy of reward. The next component to be considered is compatibility, which describes the congruence of the innovation with the values, experience, and perceived needs of the intended adopters. So, for example, at my institution, we are currently rolling out a quality enhancement plan in which the primary focus is on increasing student success in distance education. The focus of this plan is based on results from several surveys of faculty, staff, and students, as well as enrollment trends in distance education courses. Thus, the adoption of new technologies related to this plan are viewed as necessary steps toward meeting the needs of key stakeholders of the institution.
Complexity is Rogers' third attribute, which refers to how difficult it may be for its adopter to learn how to use an innovation. The more complex an innovation is, the more difficult it could be to use in your life. When things become complex, progress slows down and decreases. The fourth attribute is travelability, which is critical to the accessibility or a trial run of an innovation. Prospective adopters can test out innovations a little at a time before committing to a full adoption. Examples of travelability include trial sizes for tangible goods or demos, which allow potential adopters to view for themselves what it would be like once they decide to adopt the product.
Observability is the extent to which an innovation is visible to potential adopters. An innovation that is more visible will drive communication among the individual's peers and personal networks and will in turn create more positive reactions. Critiques. According to Scroll, the diffusion of innovation theory provides a framework, but the breadth and depth of the theory makes it difficult to frame a single study with a structure. Being that it's primarily descriptive rather than prescriptive, it doesn't tell how to facilitate adoption, but rather why adoption occurs. Because this theory can be used in various situations, it may require tweaking to suit individual situations.